Hello and welcome back to BookPod. We are officially hitting the ground running today with Season 1, Episode 11. We're currently in Week 11 of our 12-week creative journey together, which means we are rapidly approaching the finish line. Today, we are diving deep into the fierce, protective lessons inside Chapter 10, recovering a sense of self-protection. This week, we're unpacking the modern phenomenon of the dangers of the trail. How to diagnose toxic workaholism with a critical 20-point quiz, surviving emotional and creative droughts, and navigating the psychological traps of fame and competition. We will also break down this week's 5 core tasks and close out with our weekly check-in. This chapter is all about drawing boundaries. As your creative spark returns, it becomes highly vulnerable to external distractions and internal traps. Over the next few minutes, let's unpack these defense mechanisms together and look at how we can transition from toxic overworking to absolute creative self-protection. Dangers of the trail. To truly recover a sense of self-protection, Chapter 10 warns us about the unique dangers of the trail. As we begin to find our creative footing and show up consistently for our art, we inevitably encounter new obstacles. Julia Cameron points out that the closer we get to our true creative potential, the more the world tries to pull us off course. Sometimes, these dangers come from well-meaning friends or family who are uncomfortable with our changes and try to drag us back into our old, safe routines. Other times, the danger is entirely internal, a sudden wave of doubt or a desire to abandon our practice right before a breakthrough. Self-protection means staying hypervigilant, recognizing these subtle traps as you navigate the final weeks of recovery, and keeping your eyes strictly on your own path. Workaholism. One of the most dangerous and socially praised ways we block our true creativity is through workaholism. In our culture, being constantly busy, exhausted, and overworked is treated like a badge of honor. But in creative recovery, we call workaholism what it truly is: an addictive defense mechanism used to escape our feelings and avoid the vulnerability of making art. We fill our schedules with frantic, non-essential tasks so we can conveniently say, "I would love to create, but I'm just too busy." To help us shatter this illusion, Chapter 10 introduces a powerful 20-point workaholism quiz. This diagnostic tool forces us to confront our daily habits with absolute honesty. It asks piercing questions, such as, do you frequently take work with you on weekends or to bed? Do you feel guilty when you take time off to relax or play? Do you prioritize commitments to others over your own creative practice? Do you live in a constant state of artificial urgency and self-imposed deadlines? If you find yourself nodding along to these questions, you are not highly disciplined. You are using workaholism to starve your inner artist child of empty space. Overworking numbs the creative impulse. True self-protection means learning to sit in the quiet stillness, clearing the non-essential noise out of your calendar, and allowing your true voice to be heard. Drought. Even when we manage our schedules perfectly, we will eventually face a creative drought. A drought is a painful period where the morning pages feel completely hollow, your ideas seem dry, and no matter how hard you listen, the universal flow feels completely stagnant. It feels like your creativity has abandoned you entirely. Julia offers a beautiful perspective on this. Droughts are a natural, necessary part of the creative ecosystem. Just like a field must lie fallow to replenish its nutrients, an artist must sometimes experience a quiet space of emptiness. A drought is not a sign that you have failed. It is a sign that your creative well is restructuring itself below the surface. Self-protection during a drought means refusing to panic. You don't abandon the trail, and you don't force a fake product. You simply keep writing your pages, keep showing up, and trust that the rain will eventually return. Fame and competition. The final 2 traps discussed in Chapter 10 are the twin illusions of fame and competition. Both of these mindsets are completely toxic to the creative process because they shift your focus away from the process and place it entirely on external validation. Fame is a spiritual narcotic. It makes us obsess over how our work is being perceived, valued, and rated by the public. When we chase fame, We stop making authentic art and start trying to please an imaginary audience. Competition is a defensive reflex of the blocked ego. We look at what our peers are achieving, what items they are selling, or how fast they are progressing, and we fall into a pit of inadequacy or superiority. Julia reminds us that competition is a complete waste of creative energy. There is no limited pool of success. The universe is infinitely abundant, and someone else's breakthrough does not diminish your own. Self-protection means fiercely guarding your mind against comparison, turning your focus away from the market, and returning to the pure joy of the work itself. Allotted tasks, the 5 summarized. This week features 5 vital tasks designed to build your protective boundaries. Let's break them down. Task 1, the wordsmith guard. Take a look at your speech habits. List the toxic, self-deprecating phrases you use to diminish your own work, such as "it's just a little hobby," or "it's not that good." Write out protective affirmations to replace them. Task 2, tracking the time leaks. Monitor your daily schedule and identify exactly where toxic workaholism or mindless obligations are eating into your creative time. Actively cut out one non-essential task this week. Task 3, creating a sanctuary. Dedicate a physical space in your home, even if it's just a single corner of a desk or a shelf, that belongs entirely to your inner artist. Keep it sacred and free from daily stress. Task 4, finding your creative allies. List 3 people in your life who genuinely respect, protect, and champion your creative journey. Commit to spending more time with them and less time with wet blankets. Task 5, the fallow exercise. If you are currently in a creative drought, write down a formal declaration of acceptance. Explicitly give yourself permission to be empty, to rest, and to let the soil replenish without judgment. The check-in. Now, before we close out today's episode, it is time for our weekly check-in to reflect on how your journey through the previous week went. Take a quiet, honest moment to check in with yourself. Did you manage to write your morning pages every single day this past week? If you noticed yourself resisting them, what truths about your work habits or your boundaries were you trying to avoid? How did it feel to review your old morning pages with markers last week? Did taking stock of your complaints give you a clearer map of your life, or did it bring up resistance? Did you manage to take your artist date? And did you allow yourself to build your visualization collage or connect with a tiny protective totem? Finally, did you catch yourself slipping into a creative U-turn, or were you able to treat your progress with absolute compassion? Acknowledge whatever came up for you without any self-blame. Every insight is an anchor for your ongoing recovery. As you move into this next week, remember that your creative spark is a precious resource that deserves to be fiercely protected. Stop hiding in frantic busyness, ignore the toxic noise of competition, and trust the natural rhythm of your process. Clear the time leaks, cherish your allies, and stand guard over your artist child. Keep writing your morning pages, protect your weekly artist date, and I will see you right here next week as we move into Chapter 11. Until then, take care of your artist and protect your peace.